Hi, it's Chantal, and we are at 1331 Sunset Boulevard in sunny California at Subliminal Projects, where I have a show right now called The Future. So come in and we'll take a look.
And for this show, I wrote a manifesto.
Number 1 starts with you.
And it has 27 guiding principles and hopes for the future.
Number 2, in the questions we ask.
And so when you walk in, you're greeted with these principles.
Number 3, in the answers we seek. And you're going to see those points reflected in the work in the show. We also have a little puck, so you can scan this and get a nice little NFT for yourself. Okay, so over here, before you're even into the show, we have the manifesto, and I wanted it to be in a form that felt tangible, in a way that you can hold it in your hands. You'll see here that you can flick through all of the 27 principles of the manifesto: kindness, purpose, loyalty, a revolution of mindfulness. So if we come over here, you can see that the show, it opened on May 7th and it's running through June 4th, 2022. I'm going to take my shoes off here. Okay, so now's the fun part. So we've taken our shoes off, we've got prepared to have a nice experience. And once again, you're greeted with the title of the show and the title of the manifesto. The future of art is you. And now the floor acts as a way of guiding you through the installation. So we have you in the questions we ask, and then over here in the answers that we seek. We can jump back over here. In the intentions behind the intentions. So the floor almost acts like seeds. And so I wanted to also have this juxtaposition between kind of a larger wall drawing, a wall mural that's painted on the walls, the floor, and then also the artworks. And then maybe you carry some of these thoughts or ideas or principles out with you into the world. A lot of people always ask me, like, Chantal, do you ever use color? And the answer is yes, all the time. It's just that perhaps it's not as much as the black and white work. So you'll see that, for example, in this one, it also says in the questions we ask, because those 27 principles are also reflected in all of the works in some ways. And then this one is, this says in the answers that we seek. All of these, I think I used 2 different colors, like juxtapositioned, like a green and a green, and a green and a blue, and a blue and a green, just so like I'm also trying to keep it super simple. So I'm not using a ton of colors, I'm only using 2 colors. And over here, we have almost like a little message in a bottle corner. So I've been working in this medium for probably 10, 12 years. And I rescue bottles, I find them, I clean them, I gesso them, and then I draw on them. And they almost become like little vessels of messages or drawings that, you know, people then can collect and take home with them. Over here, we have, you know, some more of the principles. And these are all original drawings. And I've not planned them when I'm drawing them, but I've considered the intention or the message that I want to have in each one. Like I said, I'm not planning, I'm not sketching beforehand, I'm just bringing and picking up a marker and just letting the line take me where it wants to. And that's like a fun way of just trusting in what you're doing. So in a way, you could say that it's all one big mistake, and I've just learned to enjoy the process. And so I really like these ones actually. I think you can say you like your own work, you know. So I like these because it's a much thinner line, which I don't really use as much. And I think on this size of canvases, it just works really nicely because I'm able to put a little bit more detail into it and almost more words into it. So I think, you know, this is almost like my favorite scale to work at. And so in the show, I have 4 of these pieces that are almost like having a conversation with each other. They're mirroring each other. You know, this show is an intention, it's a well-wish, it's a promise, it's a hope, it's a dream for the future. And so for, you know, dreams or wishes to come true, in a way you have to practice that repetition. You know, this is a very classic Chantal. You have the stick figures that are holding the structural integrity of the drawing. You have the faces that are having conversations. You have some characters that are kind of sleeping on the idea, they're not yet awake. You have the landscapes. You have the plane that is taking that intention and going somewhere with it. And then more recently, I've started to integrate these kind of lines within the work. And I think these lines symbolize the movement of the wish or the movement of the intention of the piece. In the hallway, you're also met with a combination of works on canvas and works on paper. You'll see that they kind of really work nicely together in a long line here. So you have that, almost experience where you're having a message and a message and a message and a message and a message all simultaneously. And then I'm going to just take a minute to look at this one here. This might be, I think, like one of my favorite pieces in the whole show. And it's titled Freedom of Ideas. And there's just something that feels really positive and balanced and hopeful and constructive about this piece, which is super fun. So I like it when it just feels like it works. And then we're going to have a look at one last piece. And this is a whole cloth quilt. And it's a piece that's done in, I think, 2 layers of quilt. So there's a black layer, then a white layer. This is an important piece. The future of art is a revolution in the decentralization of support for artists. And then we have someone at the door. So that's perfect timing. Yeah, and then we have someone setting up sound for us because we're in for a little treat later. I'm going to be playing some music to activate the show with the voice, my voice, and a keyboard. So that's going to be fun. It's Chantel Martin, and this is my show called The Future, and I hope you enjoyed having a look around.